If you find yourself in need of legal representation, it can be a very stressful time in your life. In my career, I have dealt with thousands of lawyers, I've dealt with thousands of law firms, and I can confidently recommend to you Keith M. Davidson at kmdlaw.com. Available 24 hours, 7 days a week. Just log into kmdlaw.com. That's kmdlaw.com. Or you can call toll-free 833-4KMD-LAW. That's 833-4KMD-LAW. Personal injury, wrongful death, STDs, sexual assault, car accidents. They handle it all efficiently and professionally. It doesn't matter how imposing the opposition may be, because the team at kmdlaw.com are battle-tested and fierce. They will not stop until justice prevails. Go to kmdlaw.com or call toll-free 833-4KMD-LAW. If you're in for the fight of your life, stop screwing around and contact KMD Law.
Have you ever thought about opening your own mobile cart or kiosk business? Maybe the facility you manage could establish new revenue by adding coffee, food, or retail services. Cart King International can be the answer to your needs. Cart King is a North American designer and manufacturer of the finest mobile coffee, food, and retail carts and kiosks. Cart King has been working with clients and corporations across North America for 20 years, providing innovative designs, custom manufacturing, and timely delivery. Carts and kiosks are fun, and so are the dozens of designs on our website. Please visit us today at www.cart-king.com or just call us at 1-877-986-7771 and get your sales rolling.
Is your credit in bad shape? Do you need a new car? Ready to buy a new house? You want to rent an apartment? Are you going to apply for a job? Any one of these activities, they're going to ask for a credit report and then check out your credit score. Let Dynamic Solutions 2 erase your negative credit remarks. You go to www.dynamicsolutions2, that's the number 2.com, or call 424-888-2820. Now, if you enter promo code ED or you mention Ed Opperman, you get a 10% discount. How's that? You get a free consultation, all negative items removed, get back in positive credit position. Dynamic Solutions 2, life-changing dynamic financial solutions.
It's the Opperman Report. Join digital forensic investigator and PI Ed Opperman for an in-depth discussion of conspiracy theories, strategy of New World Order resistance, high-profile court cases in the news, and interviews with expert guests and authors on these topics and more. It's the Opperman Report. And now, here is investigator Ed Opperman.
Okay, welcome to the Opperman Report. I'm your host, private investigator Ed Opperman. You can reach me through Opperman Investigations and Digital Forensic Consulting through my website, emailrevealer.com. And if you like today's show, you can check out our member section at oppermanreport.com. We have all kind of exclusive content. And, of course, our archives are free at Spreaker.com. You can go there, sign up for free, and you get an email notification anytime we put up some new content. There's a chat room. We have today a returning guest again, Stephen Hoffenberg, who is the CEO of Tower Financial. He was the mentor and business partner of Jeffrey Epstein. We've done 3 previous hours with Mr. Hoffenberg. You can go back and check that out. We're doing things a little bit different today. I asked Mr. Hoffenberg to provide me with a list of questions specifically that he wanted the audience to know. So he's done that for me. Mr. Hoffenberg, are you there?
I'm here, Ed. How are you today?
Oh, you know how it is. You know, the work never ends, right? You know, 7 days.
Never ends. The poor rape girl victims need our help.
It's so true. And there was just a brand new lawsuit just was filed this week down there in Florida. The same pattern there with the Palm Beach mansion, the massage, all that kind of stuff. So it's the victims continue. They keep coming forward. And we're probably going to see a lot more of those now that they're probably fighting a lot of these suits instead of settling them. So remind the audience, who is Stephen Hoffenberg?
Stephen Hoffenberg was the man who knew Jeffrey Epstein for 9 years, from 1987 to 1996, when Stephen Hoffenberg and Jeffrey Epstein worked together and shared a relationship of knowing each other well on Wall Street. Now, Stephen Hoffenberg is someone who understands the rape girl victims. Stephen Hoffenberg talks to the victims all the time, and now we're going to expose today the spying, the court suits that are about to go into spying, civil rights violations, and how the girls, the rape girls and the victims are going to seize the $600 million in Epstein's assets. Epstein's partner, Darren Indyke, his co-conspirator, is in charge of the $600 million of Epstein assets, and it's time to seize those assets. And that's what we're going to talk today about, and the spying, Ed.
Well, a quick question. Darren Indyke, he's never been charged with anything, right?
Well, it's been announced by the Southern District of New York that they are targeting Darren Indyke and that they are seeking cooperation from others in order to charge Darren Indyke. And what we're going to talk about today is how to seize the $600 million from Darren Indyke's control and charge him as a spy co-conspirator with Maxwell, Epstein, in Israel.
Okay, so in the notes you sent me, you said that Ms. Maxwell's press agent told the media this past week how the spying had Ms. Maxwell escape federal crimes and justice. Describe that. What's going on with that?
Maxwell has said through her spokesperson, Mrs. Goldman, a close family friend to the media, that she has so much blackmail dirt on powerful men that she cannot be brought to justice, that the federal government of the United States of America cannot bring her to justice because she is an absolute protected spy from Israel.
And
that's amazing.
And Miss Goldman said this?
Miss Goldman has been talking for her, Laura Goldman has been talking for Maxwell to the media as a spokesperson for Mrs. Maxwell continuously, and Mrs. Goldman contends that she's receiving texts, and other Mrs. Maxwell friends are receiving texting from Mrs. Maxwell and others about the blackmail and about no justice from Mrs. Maxwell, that she will escape justice.
Now, do you think that Miss Goldman would know the whereabouts of Miss Maxwell?
The whereabouts of Miss Maxwell is probably known by a number of people. That's not a hard issue to solve. The question is, why does that matter anymore? Because she can't be used in a courtroom. She can't be put on the stand. Because the first question from a lawyer would be, are you a spy? Have you ever been a spy for Israel? Tell us about your spying for Israel with your father and Jeffrey Epstein and Darren Indyke. They can't put her in a courtroom. There's no way to do this.
Now, I know you wouldn't be able, if someone was a spy for the CIA, it's illegal to out them. And for me to say, hey, Maxwell or Epstein is a spy for the CIA. But why wouldn't we be able to out them as a spy for Israel?
It's not that we want to. It's a question of what is taking place. When Jeffrey Epstein was arrested in July of 2019, that was a remarkable event that the U.S. Attorney in the Southern District of New York occurred because of the vast amount of publicity in the media. And he felt, the U.S. Attorney, Berman, felt that he had to act and had to arrest Jeffrey Epstein. At that day, our team, our writers of Dead Men Don't Tell Tales, believed that the U.S. Attorney Berman did not know the depth of the spying for Israel and the depth of the blackmail by Israel, Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, Alex Acosta, Darren Indike, and that's what the problem was. Nobody knew about the spying in depth in July 2019 when they arrested Epstein.
Well, you can't say that because obviously Alex Acosta knew. Vicky Ward knew. She was talking about it on TV a couple of days later. And you see that
Vicky Ward has refused to step forward and articulate the spying. Now, I deal with Vicky Ward. I just did a taping for her podcast recently at CNN. And she will not step forward and identify the spying right now. Alex Acosta has said in 2007 and 2008 that this is an intelligence matter when he gave Jeffrey Epstein a prison pass and ripped up a 54-page indictment. Alex Acosta is going to be the problem for Jeffrey Epstein, Mrs. Maxwell, for Israel, for Darren Indike, and for President Donald Trump. Alex Acosta is the problem right now. Right now. Because he knows about the spying, and he lied to Congress.
Okay, but I understand that, but explain to me. Now, if Maxwell is untouchable, and she's walking around, and she has a spokesperson, Goldman, walking around bragging that she's untouchable because of her blackmail dirt, that would mean that anybody in their right mind would realize that also Epstein had the same blackmail dirt. He was also untouchable. Yet these prosecutors in Manhattan were unaware of that and tried to, or is that the theory there? Or could this whole thing have been a show?
It's much deeper.
Go ahead.
It's much deeper, Ed. First of all, Epstein allegedly died in prison. Epstein allegedly was a spy. Robert Maxwell, Ghislaine's father, was a spy, was treated like a dignitary at his death in Israel for his burial. Now we know that Alex Acosta had information that was not shared in the questions asked him in the United States Congress. We know that now.
Right.
Once a subpoena in all these many lawsuits, you just mentioned another lawsuit was filed this week. Once the lawyers start the subpoenas against Alex Acosta and start asking him questions about the spying, they could seize the $600 million of Epstein's money in the estate quickly.
Okay.
So the answer is we had the idea, Ed, but we didn't know how to execute against the spying. There weren't these new lawsuits. The law didn't change in New York that recently changed and allowed these new lawsuits. The Florida lawsuit that was brought this week was by Brad Edwards' firm, who has a very deep understanding of Epstein, and now is first looking at the spying. He disagreed with me about the spying over the years.
Oh, really?
I told Brad Edwards that Epstein was a spy, but he disagreed. So this is a new evidence issue in how to seize the $600 million for the rape victims. And the lawyers are paying attention to it now. You're paying attention to it, Ed, but now.
Is anyone making an effort, though, to go after Alex Acosta in any kind of way? The Congress isn't? None of these lawsuits are.
There is an effort. There is an effort by Adam Schiff.
Okay.
There is an effort. There are conversations. I will expose a little bit more than I ever did before. I've been a party to conversations about this that are going to be looked at in the United States Congress, where they are interested in what occurred pertaining to Jeffrey Epstein, Darren Indike's control of the $600 million, the spying, the $60 million that went to President Donald Trump, Adam Schiff is starting to pay attention to this. Now, this is all new. You got to remember that the book, Dead Men Tell No Tales, by Dylan Howard, opened up this door very wide. And now it's breaking wide open, spying by Israel, Epstein, Maxwell, Darren Indike, $600 million controlled by Darren Indike, Epstein's partner, right now? Not going to happen, Ed. It's going to stop.
Okay. If there's going to be some, okay, you're saying that there could be some new congressional hearings involving Acosta and all these other facts here, and Indike and all this kind of stuff. Would this include Trump?
Well, Trump has a problem. President Donald Trump did a deal with Epstein where the profits were $50 to $60 million in a property that got sold to a Russian oligarch and fertilizer. So the answer to that question is yes. President Trump did a deal. He made a lot of money, $50 to $60 million in a property with Jeffrey Epstein in Florida in Palm Beach, the Abe Gossman property, and it's going to involve President Donald Trump. Yes.
But what about Trump?
But let's also keep in mind that President Trump took Alex Acosta into the White House, inside the White House. Now it's going to come out that Alex Acosta covered up the spying. This is a very serious problem for President Donald Trump.
Right, and let's keep in
mind.
Covered up the spying. Yeah, Trump lives in Mar-a-Lago, Palm Beach, Florida, and Alex Acosta was the federal prosecutor for that district. There's no way they didn't have prior contact with each other, is there? Well, that's a question that Adam Schiff's going to ask Alex Acosta. Okay. That's definitely a question that the Congress and the head of that intelligence section is Adam Schiff. And President Donald Trump and Adam Schiff are fighting every single day almost. Yeah. In the media. Okay, but Mr. Now it's starting to open up, Ed, and you're one of the first people playing it on the air. I know, but the thing is, I'm so skeptical that we're going to have a congressional hearing, whether even in private, even a closed hearing, that's going to expose our closest ally, that we give billions of dollars a year of aid, and expose that this government and their intelligence agency was involved in using underage children in sexual blackmail, and what happens next? This is the actual story that Israel can tell, because the Israel spy handlers have already started to whistleblow. They've already started talking. Ari Ben-Menesh already started talking. Martin Dillon already started talking. Rafi Eaton already started talking. This is now taking place. Alex Acosta already started talking. Now, what the Israeli spy masters are saying is that Epstein went out of control, went totally out of control. And they did not support what Epstein was doing. Now, Israel can disown Epstein and Maxwell and Darren Indike once the $600 million is seized by the victims. Israel can take a position, look, whatever we did, there was an error. You know, Israel's not doing too well on their prime minister elections. And it looks like they're going to try to clean up their act. And this is going to be a problem for Israel to cleanse unless they come forward and tell the truth, which they have no choice but to disown Epstein, Maxwell, Darren Indike, Alex Acosta. They have no choice. It escapes my memory. Who was the The previous Shimon Peres was on Epstein's plane.
Epstein had deep relationships with Perez and Barak.
Right.
With both of them. Very deep. Very substantial. Gave millions of dollars to Barak. Got approval to be an Israeli spy with Robert Maxwell and Ghislaine Maxwell, the daughter, above the objections of the spy masters. Above the objections of the spy masters. They didn't want Epstein to be a spy for Israel. So it's not that Israel is on the bad side. There was influence here brought on the Israel leadership to make Jeffrey Epstein a spy. That was Jeffrey Epstein's plan with Ghislaine Maxwell and Robert Maxwell, to make Jeffrey Epstein a spy. And it took place. Now, it can be revealed sensitively, because it's starting to happen now, where the Israeli spying mechanism are talking. They don't like what Epstein did. They don't like what Ghislaine Maxwell is doing. They don't like what Darren Indyke is doing with the $600 million. All this attention is now moving to Israel. This minute.
But when you say that he was betraying Israel, that he was getting out of control, so he was spying on behalf. He was allies with Perez and Barak the entire time?
Yes.
Okay.
Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell were allies with the Israeli leadership while they were blackmailing politicians and powerful people for information in America. And that is the blackmail that Ghislaine Maxwell talked about through her press spokesman, Mrs. Goldman, this week to the media. She said she's got too much dirt on very powerful people. They can't bring her to justice. Now, that's what's taking place, Ed. They cannot bring her to justice.
Well, why couldn't
She's above the law.
Okay, all right. I agree she's above the law. And I think that Epstein is above the law, too, as well. Why couldn't they just do the same thing with her? They pull her in, there's a suicide, you're on your way. And then it's over, you know?
You know, I spoke to a source this week that deals with supposed suicides that are not suicides.
Yeah.
His claim is that she's dead already.
Oh, really? That's interesting. That would make a lot of sense.
Well, this source is a very knowledgeable expert in how this works when people have blackmailed dirt that is too dangerous for countries to accept. So the source said she's not alive anymore. That's why they're leaking these stories every 2 weeks to just make it look like she's alive.
Right. Okay.
The source said she's dead. She's dead.
What is the background of this source? U.S. intelligence, foreign intelligence?
The background of the source is an expert in killings.
Mm.
He is an expert through his research and his study over decades of killings by the mafia and by the spying world.
Okay.
And his opinion was very strong that she's already dead.
Yeah, that would make a lot of sense.
Well, how come we can't find her?
Right.
How come there's no talk about where she is? And how come the story changes in the media every week? Because she might be dead. She might be dead.
And you being aware of this cast of characters, who would obtain her blackmail dirt? Israel, the state of Israel would own it?
Israel would have it, but they're never going to talk about it. The English, I'm sure, know about it. their spy agencies, because Prince Andrew is very deep in the weeds here as being used for blackmail by Epstein and Maxwell, Alex Acosta, and also Darren Indyke, the guy with the $600 million. So they have the information. There's no question. But now it's going to first come out about what really happened, because America cannot allow the $600 million to stay in the possession of Darren Indyke, Jeffrey Epstein's partner, who has possession of the $600 million.
Yeah. Now, how does Netanyahu fit into all of this at the moment? We're allies with Epstein, enemies with Epstein? Because I know his son was tweeting out a lot of stuff about Barack.
The question is, would Netanyahu, which is known as Bibi, the current prime minister who's in trouble, who's been indicted in Israel, would he attempt to clean up Israel before the next election? Because he's having tremendous problems in getting elected again. And according to the insiders, he's not going to get elected again. So he might use this as a plan. He just might.
Now, again, you, Stephen Hoffenberg, you used to run a PAC to elect Trump. Correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, and we see today, so, at one time you had some type of loyalty with Trump or for Trump or endorsement of Trump.
Yes.
And where do you stand on that issue today?
Well, I'm in the middle of a case for victims. And what I have to deal with President Trump is the truth about Jeffrey Epstein, Darren Indyke, Maxwell, Alex Acosta, and I have a lot of questions as to what's going on with Alex Acosta, President Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein, and Darren Indyke and the $600 million, and Israel. I have a lot of questions. So I would like my questions answered. And I believe the public would like to know the truth.
So we see Trump bringing Acosta into the White House, right? Part of the cabinet. We see Trump meeting with Prince Andrew on his most recent trip. He brought his daughter there, too, to meet with Prince Andrew, right before the arrest of Epstein, June of 2019, July. Now we see Trump's reaching out. Kellyanne Conway says that he has great respect for Alan Dershowitz, speaks highly of him, and speaks with him often. Just brought him into the White House. Just met with him down at Mar-a-Lago. Now, so Trump is around all these folks all the time with no fear of his association with them. What do you make of that?
You don't know, nor does anybody know, the mindset of President Donald Trump as to why he spends time with people that are involved in cases that are very bad for America. Nobody knows if President Donald Trump is trying to get information himself that his agencies can't get from these men that you're naming. Keep in mind that these men probably talk very openly with President Donald Trump. And President Donald Trump is getting intelligence information greater than his spy agencies can receive, such as the CIA. They can't go have an open conversation as to Mar-a-Lago. Nobody in the CIA is invited to Mar-a-Lago to interview these men. But look, President Donald Trump has the right to interview these men, and he has the right to gather intelligence information, and he has the right to use it as the chief law enforcement officer of the United States of America against these men that you name. And nobody's going to be surprised if that occurs.
I would be shocked if it occurred. If suddenly...
No, you won't be shocked, because Richard Nixon, all the president's men went to prison. They went to prison. John Mitchell came to work for us in our company when he left prison.
Oh, really?
The former Attorney General. Yeah. John Mitchell came to work for us. I worked with him for years up until his death, because he was in our company. And all these men told what occurred in all the president's men. This top secret way of covering up, spying, that's going to end this year in 2020. It's going to end. It's all going to be exposed. This is over.
Okay. Let's go back to some of these questions you sent me, okay?
Sure.
It says here, explain how Hoffenberg reported the Epstein crimes over the 9 years to the government. So during those 9 years when Epstein was working for you, you actually made reports to the government about Epstein's activity?
You're about to see documents that have never been shown before dealing with your question. You're about to see evidence that has never been seen before, that is not out there. Brand new evidence that's going to change the story substantially. That's going to open up a whole new door for the victims, for the rape victims and all the victims, against Alex Acosta and against the $600 million that Darren Endike, Jeffrey Epstein's partner, has control of. The evidence is coming out
and
very soon.
How does this relate to that 9-year period? You were making reports to the government regarding Epstein and his perversions, not his spying activity.
My role in the 9 years was very substantial in providing very important information, critical information. And that role was documented.
Okay.
And the story is about to be told, substantially told. And these documents have never been seen before.
Now, did you make this, did you initiate this communication with the government before or after you came under their scrutiny for the financial, what you called accounting discrepancies there over Tower Financial?
It's been reported by the Washington Post that I provided the federal government with substantial evidence about Jeffrey Epstein before and during the time frame you're asking about. In addition, there's more evidence that the Washington Post was not provided that's coming out, of information that was turned over that's going to establish a substantial cover-up by Israel, Epstein, Maxwell, Ghislaine Maxwell, Darren Endike, the man with the $600 million, Epstein's partner, Alex Acosta. That evidence is about to come out.
Do you think it's possible that when you contacted investigators with information about Epstein, that's what caused the scrutiny upon you and Tower Financial?
Good question.
You never thought of that before?
Good question.
You never thought of that
Good
before?
question. Good question.
Yeah.
My opinion is the spying caused the scrutiny on Tower's Financial, generated by Epstein and his Darren Endike, Robert Gold, Maxwell connections, because they're the ones that had me fired from Tower's Financial and had me replaced by their people. They took over Tower's Financial. I left.
Yeah.
And they took it over.
And part of that was because of Rudy Giuliani, who took their side over your side.
Rudy Giuliani and his chief of the criminal division, Mr. Black, and a man named Robert Vidello, who was the prosecutor in the Towers financial case of Jeffrey Epstein getting no penalty, they were all involved. All involved. The story is going to be told. It's going to come out. There are a number of whistleblowers that are deciding about what they're going to say right now. The story is about to be told.
Okay, let's take a little commercial break here. Okay, we're with Stephen Hoffenberg. It's our fourth visit with Mr. Hoffenberg. We were discussing the case of Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, Robert Maxwell, Darren Endyke, and all this cast of characters. Alex Costa. Mr. Hoffenberg was the partner and mentor to Jeffrey Epstein at Tower Financial. He's been involved with everyone involved in all this kind of stuff, and he's a key component of the book Dead Men Tell No Tales. Is that how is that the title, Dead Men Tell No Tales?
Yes, sir.
Or Dead Men Don't Tell Tales?
Dead Men Tell No Tales.
Dead Men Tell No Tales. We'll be right back with more of Mr. Hoffenberg after these messages. And now a word from our sponsors. If you find yourself in need of legal representation, it can be a very stressful time in your life. In my career, I have dealt with thousands of lawyers, I've dealt with thousands of law firms, and I can confidently recommend to you Keith M. Davidson at kmdlaw.com. Available 24 hours, 7 days a week. Just log into kmdlaw.com. That's kmdlaw.com. Or you can call toll-free 833-4KMD-LAW. That's 833-4KMD-LAW. Personal injury, wrongful death, STDs, sexual assault, car accidents. They handle it all efficiently and professionally. It doesn't matter how imposing the opposition may be, because the team at kmdlaw.com are battle-tested and fierce. They will not stop until justice prevails. Go to kmdlaw.com or call toll-free 833-4KMD-LAW. If you're in for the fight of your life, stop screwing around and contact KMD Law.
Are you ready to change your life, but don't know how to start? Is your stress and worries keeping you awake at night? Have you been battling grief, anxiety, or depression all alone? Have you lost touch with your own sense of being or spirituality? Soul Free Therapies offers professional and affordable live video streaming counseling and coaching services from the comfort of your own home. Sessions offered in English, Spanish, and Portuguese. Go to our website at www.soul-free.com and book your first session today.
Hey, check out our brand new sponsor, Dynamic Solutions 2. That's the number 2. They offer a life-changing, dynamic financial solution. The finest in fast, professional, affordable credit repair. Is your credit in bad shape? Do you need a new car? Ready to buy a new house? You want to rent an apartment? Are you going to apply for a job? Any one of these activities, they're going to ask for a credit report and then check out your credit score. Let Dynamic Solutions 2 erase your negative credit remarks. They have affordable monthly prices. They accept Visa, MasterCard, PayPal options available. You go to www.dynamicsolutions, that's the number 2.com, or call 424-888-2820. 424-888-2820. Now, if you enter promo code ED or you mention Ed Opperman, you get a 10% discount. How's that? You get a free consultation, all negative items removed, get back in positive credit position. Dynamic Solutions 2, life-changing dynamic financial solutions. 424-888-2820. Tell them Ed Opperman sent you. You get a 10% discount. PureSoapFlakes.com, 218-568-2525. Have you ever heard of Castile Soap? Pure Soap Flake Company handcrafts fine soap bars, laundry powder, and concentrated soap flakes using organic vegetable oils from their northern Minnesota facility. Bathe your body and wash your clothes with pure soap products that are free of fragrance, GMOs, palm oil, sodium lauryl sulfate, and synthetic additives. Keep it clean, folks. Pure Soap Flake Company products are kind to living creatures and sensitive skin, safe for drains and waterways, and work great in high-efficiency washers and top and front-loading machines. They have a little promotion going on. Contact them to order some soap. Mention the Opperman Report. You're going to get a free gift. They're going to send a little extra soap, travel size, soap bars and laundry soap, cleaning soap flakes. I've been using that stuff all day long today. Great stuff. Order today at puresoapflakes.com or give them a call, 218-568-2525, 218-568-2525. Pure Soap Flake Company is a proud member of the Handcrafted Soap and Cosmetic Guild.
It's the Opperman Report. And now, here is investigator Ed Opperman.
Okay, welcome back to the Opperman Report. I'm your host, private investigator Ed Opperman. We're here once again with Stephen Hoffenberg, one of the main sources for the book Dead Men Tell No Tales. And Mr. Hoffenberg, in some of these notes here you sent me, one is explain how the spying stopped the government use of Miss Maxwell and the many rape victims' lawsuits that are crimes. Around that question, I want to ask you this. Now, Maxwell has never been a defendant in any of these lawsuits other than defamation cases. Am I right?
Correct.
Yeah, that's interesting. How can that be?
She's been explained in these cases for her role in the rapes of the underage girls, because those cases are suing the executives of the estate, which is Darren Indyke and the co-executive Richard Kahn. So she should not be named, but she should be exposed for her criminal misconduct in the body of the lawsuit, which she is.
I understand that.
In most of them.
Yeah, no, I understand that she's named as the procurer, the pimp in these cases, the one who's luring these kids. Now, but that's a crime in itself. She's got money. How come these attorneys aren't going after her?
The attorneys have an easy role soon to seize the monies that Darren Indyke, Jeffrey Epstein's partner, is controlling now. And the attorneys are looking forward to winning the seizure of the money. What is going to happen soon is evidence is going to come out that's going to help the seizure of all the money away from Epstein's partner, Darren Indyke. That's next. That's coming right now.
Well, explain that. How is that going to come about?
There is substantial evidence being reviewed this minute that will allow the victims and the Southern District in New York to seize the assets away. The $600 million will be taken away from Darren Indyke. That is a key part of the plan that's now going to go into effect in 2020. The $600 million can be seized, can be taken away, put into a trust. Darren Indyke is Jeffrey Epstein's partner, who's controlling the $600 million. That's going to stop this year, this new year. It's going to stop. And the federal government's going to participate with the victims in seizing the assets.
Now,
there's a plan being put into place right now.
Does the figure 600 million seem logical to you? Shouldn't there be more than that?
It's much more than that, but this has been registered in the federal court when Jeffrey Epstein went for his bail application. It's much more. There's another $100 million or whatever loaned by Mark Epstein for 301 East 66th Street, where these girls were staying in apartments that were owned by Epstein's brother, or Epstein.
Now,
that's 150 apartments.
Just like in
but
the
that's
settlement.
Not, there's more. There's more money.
There has to be more.
Much more.
So just like in the settlement that we saw in Palm Beach, right? There's a lot of material available in that, and we saw how the negotiations went. We saw how the settlement went. And they put aside a fund. We're going to put aside this amount of money. We're going to pay the victims' attorneys. We're going to pay for them too as well. And this amount of money is going to go to the victims. Don't you think it's kind of possible that Epstein and his negotiators right now in his disappearing act here put aside the $600 million in the hands of his partner, Darren Endike, to be seized and to be distributed. They needed a fund, a slush fund, right, to pay off these people and people like Stephen Hoffenberg to chase after and scream about. Is that a possibility?
They have not been willing to do that. They were asked to do that, but they have refused. Darren Endike, Jeffrey Epstein's partner in charge of the $600 million, refused that request. He said, "Oh no, I'll try to settle these cases with the 9/11 settlement team." But nobody's buying that, and the court's not approving it in St. Thomas.
Okay.
So
back to your list of questions, okay? Explain how the spying stopped the government use of Miss Maxwell and the many rape victims' lawsuits that are crimes. So she wasn't charged as a criminal. She got immunity, right? And you believe that was due to the spying influence.
She received Alex Acosta immunity only in Florida. Only in Florida.
Oh, really?
Not in New Mexico, not in New York City, not on the island, Little St. James. There are video cameras affirmed, validated, that were used for blackmail in all of Epstein's homes. There's no question of that. The video cameras are a fact. And the government knows now that she's an intricate spy, Mrs. Maxwell.
So we know that she was a target of criminal prosecution because of her spying background. Could that explain why she's not a target of civil litigation?
No, the question in civil litigation to recover funds is the deep pocket theory. She's not a deep pocket. As a matter of fact, her legal fees are so great, and she's probably dead right now like her boyfriend Epstein. So suing her, you're not going to get any money. If you sue Jeffrey Epstein's assets, $600 million, you're definitely going to get money. And you don't want to sue Maxwell, who doesn't have much money, as a defendant, civilly. That's not a good lawsuit to bring.
Okay, let's see.
Let me talk about the seizure of the $600 million.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, explain how the $600 million can be seized by the U.S. government.
Good. The $600 million came out of illegal undue enrichment, fraud, crimes. There's no question of that. There's a lot of documentation available now establishing that the $600 million was illegally obtained. Once you go into federal court, the victims and the Southern District of New York, with the documentation, the evidence that we have, the assets can be taken away from Darren Endike, the entire $600 million. And our group is putting that whole plan together this minute to take away the $600 million from Darren Endike. I've been asked to cooperate in that effort.
Okay, you know what? That makes perfect sense, right? That money should be seized, right? But what is the other side? What are they claiming is the legal source of that money?
They don't have any claims for legal source of that money. Their biggest client, Leslie Wexner, put in a claim of $46 million against the $600 million recently. He put in a claim against it. They have no defense. Once the victims, the rape victims and all the victims and the federal government go for the seizure of the Darren Endike $600 million, Darren Endike will turn it over. He will turn it over. The $600 million will be turned over to the victims and the Southern District of New York. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. It's going to take place.
Yeah, in a real courtroom, in a real system, of course it should. Now, let me ask the question here, because we're running out of time. Now, if the only known client of Jeffrey Epstein is Les Wexner, and he's saying, hey, that's $40 million that is mine. I don't know where the rest of that's from. I don't know where did Epstein get the rest of that money? Through payoffs? Blackmail payoffs? Or
what you're going to see is how he made the rest of that money. There was an enormous amount of millions removed by Jeffrey Epstein and his co-conspirators down in Dyke, and you're going to see how they removed that money. That's coming forward right now.
That money came from Tower Financial?
Say that again, Ed?
All that money came from Tower Financial?
I'm not saying that all of it came from Towers Financial, but I'm saying a lot of millions came from Towers Financial, and Jeffrey Epstein's fingerprints are all over those millions with his partner, Darren Indike. His fingerprints are all over those millions also, that you're going to see exposed by the rape victims and the Southern District of New York, who will seize the $600 million soon.
Okay, so I guess the big news that comes out of today's interview is that we should look for something coming from Adam Schiff, investigation into Acosta and that end. And also, too, that there's also some other action going on behind the scenes to seize the $600 million, which should be a piece of cake, man. You know, those are the two big news events out of this hour.
And also the exposure of the unfortunate spying and blackmailing.
Yeah. Oh,
and that this Mrs. Maxwell can't be found, which is ridiculous.
Right. And Goldman saying that she's got this blackmail dirt that gives her immunity. Mr. Hoffenberg, we got 1 minute left. You want to leave us with something?
I would like Adam Schiff to consider the gravity of these particular rape victims, the underage girls, the $600 million in the hands of a Jeffrey Epstein partner, Darren Indike, and the involvement with the spying. Adam Schiff needs to pay attention to these crimes, because this is his responsibility on the Intelligence Committee. And he needs to focus on what you're looking at, Ed, so that it can come to light for the rape victims.
Well, one really quick question then. Why stop there? You mentioned a $100 million building owned by the brother. What's the brother do for a living that he can show where the source of this income was, that he can possess this building? It came from his brother, Jeffrey Epstein, and that money came from his criminal enterprise. Why stop at the $600 million? Why not go for the rest?
We are talking about what Adam Schiff is going to do to start the investigation into what you just asked. The brother has no net worth. He has no ability to buy 301 East 66th Street without Jeffrey Epstein and Darren Indike's participation.
Right.
And that's not in the $600 million.
Right.
There's plenty of hundreds of millions more. That's why we need Adam Schiff.
Mr. Hoffenberg, we're out of time.
Adam Schiff.
We're out of time. Thank you so much. Put together another list of questions for me. We'll talk again next week.
Okay. Thank you, Ed.
Thank you, sir.
Bye-bye.
Stephen Hoffenberg, the head of Tower Financial, formerly partners and mentor with Jeffrey Epstein. Again, giving us another boatload of information here. We'll have him back as often as he wants to come on, just to cover all these little details here. Thank you so much, Stephen Hoffenberg. And now a word from our sponsors. If you find yourself in need of legal representation, it can be a very stressful time in your life. In my career, I have dealt with thousands of lawyers, I've dealt with thousands of law firms, and I can confidently recommend to you Keith M. Davidson at kmdlaw.com. Available 24 hours, 7 days a week. Just log into kmdlaw.com. That's kmdlaw.com. Or you can call toll-free 833-4KMD-LAW. That's 833-4KMD-LAW. Personal injury, wrongful death, STDs, sexual assault, car accidents. They handle it all efficiently and professionally. It doesn't matter how imposing the opposition may be, because the team at kmdlaw.com are battle-tested and fierce. They will not stop until justice prevails. Go to kmdlaw.com or call toll-free 833-4KMD-LAW. If you're in for the fight of your life, stop screwing around and contact KMD Law.
Have you ever thought about opening your own mobile cart or kiosk business? Maybe the facility you manage could establish new revenue by adding coffee, food, or retail services. Cart King International can be the answer to your needs. Cart King is a North American designer and manufacturer of the finest mobile coffee, food, and retail carts and kiosks. Cart King has been working with clients and corporations across North America for 20 years, providing innovative designs, custom manufacturing, and timely delivery. Carts and kiosks are fun, and so are the dozens of designs on our website. Please visit us today at www.cart-king.com or just call us at 1-877-986-7771 and get your sales rolling.
PureSoapFlakes.com, 218-568-2525. Have you ever heard of Castile Soap? Pure Soap Flake Company handcrafts fine soap bars, laundry powder, and concentrated soap flakes using organic vegetable oils from their northern Minnesota facility. Bathe your body and wash your clothes with Pure Soap products that are free of fragrance, GMOs, palm oil, sodium lauryl sulfate, and synthetic additives. Keep it clean, folks. Pure Soap Flake Company products are kind to living creatures and sensitive skin, safe for drains and waterways, and work great in high-efficiency washers and top and front-loading machines. They have a little promotion going on. Contact them to order some soap. Mention the Opperman Report. You're going to get a free gift. They're going to sing a little extra soap, travel size, soap bars and laundry soap, cleaning soap flakes. I've been using that stuff all day long today. Great stuff. Order today at puresoapflakes.com or give them a call, 218-568-2525, 218-568-2525. Pure Soap Flake Company is a proud member of the Handcrafted Soap and Cosmetic Guild.
Are you ready to change your life, but don't know how to start? Is your stress and worries keeping you awake at night? Have you been battling grief, anxiety, or depression all alone? Have you lost touch with your own sense of being or spirituality? Soul Free Therapies offers professional and affordable live video streaming counseling and coaching services from the comfort of your own home. Sessions offered in English, Spanish, and Portuguese. Go to our website at www.soul-free.com and book your first session today.
Hey, check out our brand new sponsor, Dynamic Solutions 2. That's the number 2. They offer a life-changing, dynamic financial solution. The finest in fast, professional, affordable credit repair. Is your credit in bad shape? Do you need a new car? Ready to buy a new house? You want to rent an apartment? Are you going to apply for a job? Any one of these activities, they're going to ask for a credit report and then check out your credit score. Let Dynamic Solutions 2 erase your negative credit remarks. They have affordable monthly prices. They accept Visa, MasterCard, PayPal options available. You go to www.dynamicsolutions, that's the number 2.com, or call 424-888-2820. 424-888-2820. Now, if you enter promo code ED or you mention Ed Opperman, you get a 10% discount. How's that? You get a free consultation, all negative items removed, get back in positive credit position. Dynamic Solutions 2, life-changing dynamic financial solutions. 424-888-2820. Tell them Ed Opperman sent you. You get a 10% discount.
Tina Helmuth is writing an ongoing series of fact-fiction books that boldly takes on today's most heinous crimes. Suffer the Little Children, The Wrath of the Father, and Unbreakable. Deeply researched and mixed with the supernatural, good versus evil makes these thrillers hard to put down. Available at lulu.com.
Discount. How's that? You get a free consultation,